Hi, this is Nick Forster. We're going to share one of our favorite eTown shows from the archives, and it starts right now.
Live from eTown Hall in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, it's eTown with this week's musical guest from Okemah, Oklahoma, John Fullbright. And from Northern California, very special guest, Bob Weir. I'm Helen Forster. Join me now in welcoming our host, if you will, Nick Forster.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Helen. Welcome to eTown Hall, our solar-powered musical clubhouse. We're so glad you all could be with us this week. So there is a lot of hope in making original music. Hope that you can capture something special as a songwriter. Hope that you can record that and play it in a way that does the original inspiration justice. Hope that an audience will connect with what you created. And then the loftier stuff. Hope that your songs will stand the test of time. We have got two guests this week who are approaching this classic creative puzzle from different angles. One, John Fullbright, who's amazing and talented, and also pretty early on in his career, but he's a great singer, great songwriter and performer. And then we've got one who has been in a band for more than 50 years that's in some ways helped redefine American roots and popular music, but he's still looking for that elusive combination, looking to make music that connects in real time, so this should be fun. Up first, one of the founding members and lead singers for the Grateful Dead, the band that really broke new ground ever since their first gigs in 1965, always experimenting, innovating, trying things out, sometimes failing, but always engaging their audience, inviting that audience to be a part of something, a shared experience that could rise above the normal. They created an incredible community of fans, as you all know. They sold a zillion records. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, all of that. But this founding member of that particular band has a new record out that's called Blue Mountain. He's got a full schedule of shows, and we know that this particular musician is still chasing that elusive goal, that magical puzzle of making music and making it last. Please welcome back to eTown our good friend, Mr. Bob Weir.
Imagine yourself like 50 or 60 years ago in a bunkhouse in Wyoming or somewhere like that, and a bunch of old cowpokes who'd grown up before the era of radio. So their idea was how to kill an evening was to maybe pop a cork and tell stories and sing songs, and this is one of them. Blue Mountain, your azure deep. Blue Mountain, your sides are steep. Blue Mountain, with a horse head on your side. You've stolen my love to keep. You've stolen my love to keep. Well, I was born in a manger in Texas. The pintos and paints all come round. My days there were troubled and reckless. All the bad news I looked for I found. So I welcome North End down in Texas, for reasons you won't want to know. So I roped and I broke and I rambled to where the sage and the pinyon grow. Blue Mountain, your azure deep. Blue Mountain, your sides are steep. Blue Mountain, with a horse head on your side. You've stolen my love to keep. You've stolen my love to keep. And now I rope with a lot of go Gordon. I drank at the Blue Goose Saloon. And I dance all night with the Mormon girls, ride home my way lit by the moon. Oh, here is the snake in the rainbow, and here is the balsam and bough, and here are the ladders of light up to heaven. But Blue Mountain is all I need now. Blue Mountain, your azure deep. Blue Mountain, your sides are steep. Blue Mountain with a horse head on your side. You've stolen my love to keep. You've stolen my love to keep. So what kind of cut purse is the evening to scatter her diamonds behind? We're all giving the first and the last love, and Blue Mountain will be most of mine. Blue Mountain, your azure deep. Blue Mountain, your sides are steep. Blue Mountain with a horse head on your side. You stolen my love to keep. You stolen my love to keep. You stolen my love to keep. Well, thanks. She's mighty light. She come running with ball all night. Run, 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 yeah. Don't take much to get me on the ground. She's my yo-yo, I'm a string. She listen to the birds on the hot wire sing, sing. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. For a real good time. I got jumped coming home last night. Shadow in the oven, put up all my lights. Round and round, round and round, round and round and round, yeah. Don't take much to get me on the ground. take much to get me on the ground. Cross my heart and I hope to die. I was just hanging out with the other guys, saying yeah, 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 singing thank you. So I come home with two black eyes. You know I love you till the day I die. Run round, round and round. Round and round, yeah. Don't take much to get the word around. I like your style, but you ain't my type. Singing don't shake the tree when the fruit ain't ripe. Sing yeah, 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 yeah. Singing yeah, 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 yeah. Singing yeah, 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 yeah. Singing thank you. For a real good time. I'm going to bring out my old pal Stu Kimmott. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow. Oh, lay my lily down. Lay my lily down. Well, the first time I saw my newborn girl, she was pulling on her mama's hair. The sun coming through the window, I'd known her anywhere. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow. I'll lay my lily down. Lay my lily down. Wake up, my sleeping child. Come and learn to laugh at hell. 'Cause the barrel fire in your daddy's blood runs in your veins as well. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a But the last time I saw my dear old girl, she was standing at the windswept sea with her two pearl-handled pistols, a banjo on her knee. Dig a hole in the middle. Dig a hole in the cold ground. Dig a hole in the middle. Gonna lay my lily down. Dig a hole in the middle. Dig a hole in the cold ground. Dig a hole in the middle. Gonna lay my lily down. Lay my lily down. Lay my lily down. Oh, lay my lily down. Lay my lily down.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, or SCFD, one of the largest cultural funding mechanisms in the United States, supporting nearly 300 organizations in the greater Denver area. And by our diverse family of NPR affiliates and community stations, plus college and commercial stations, as well as our international stations and podcast subscribers worldwide. Thank you for your continued support. By the way, did you know that eTown is produced by a nonprofit organization committed to bringing people together through music and conversation? For over 3 decades, we've been on the air celebrating all the things we have in common and highlighting ways in which we can treat each other and the planet better. If you'd like to learn more about eTown or to get involved, please visit etown.org. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. I'd like to say hello to our listeners who are hearing eTown on stations like WNCS, The Point in Burlington and Montpelier, Vermont, on KJAC, the Colorado Sound in Fort Collins and all over the state of Colorado, and our newest stations, KCHW, Northern Lights Public Radio in Chewella, Washington. As always, if you want more information about our show, you want to see photos and videos of this week's program, you want to buy tickets to the show, or find out anything you want to know about eTown, all that's on the web at etown.org. So, first of all, let me just say, welcome back, Bob Weir. It's been a long time since you've been on eTown. I think it's like 25 years or something. So
something like that.
Yeah, too long. Glad to have you back. Let me also say you are an underrated guitar player. You know, you've been in a band with these flashy guitar players, and you know, you're solid and good in that way that very few people are. We got to hear a couple songs from your new record, which is called Blue Mountain. Kind of a collection of cowboy songs. Is that music that you paid attention to when you were a little kid, like cowboy movies and cowboy songs?
Well, you know, it's a story that I've told before, but when I was 15, I thought it'd be a terribly romantic thing to do to run away and be a cowboy, so I did. And so I found myself on a ranch in west central Wyoming with a bunch of old boys who they'd grown up without radio before radio had gotten that far. So singing songs and telling stories was what you did at night.
I have to ask you about the details of that a little bit. So I'm just trying to think about 15-year-old kids who might be listening to this radio show and thinking, yeah, that sounds romantic. I think I'd like to be a cowboy. How did you actually manifest that? Did you just tell your parents that, by the way, I'm taking off and I'm going to go and hitchhike to Wyoming? Or how did you find yourself on a ranch in Wyoming?
I had enough money so I could ride a bus most of the way, but some of it was hitchhiking.
Okay, and then you got there, and then you're just hanging out for like a week, a month, a couple months, or how?
Summer.
Yeah, wow. Wow, and so you, did you know how to ride a horse?
You know, I didn't spend much time on horseback. Now, I knew how to ride at that point, but most of the time I spent sitting on a tractor or shoveling stalls.
Yeah. Baling hay and, yeah. Well, that's cool, but you got exposed to the cowboy culture, and as you say, this was sort of no radio. You're out there just singing songs and telling stories.
Yeah.
Well, I have a feeling an image popped into your head right around then. But you were already probably kind of a folkie by that point, right?
Yeah, I was a budding folkie.
Yeah.
But I was aware that this is true American folk music, the kind that you don't hear on the radio because it's not, it wasn't cool. Cowboy tunes weren't cool at that point. But, that first one, Blue Mountain, I think that was written back in the 20s by some guy. I rewrote it with Josh Ritter a little bit. Maybe a minor chord here where it might not have been, but it might have been. You couldn't really tell, and had a little bit of liberty with the lyric as well.
Yeah, I think wasn't it Hal Cannon who kind of helped resurrect that song from an oral tradition into a thing. It was cool. That's a beautiful song. I know that the folky thing affected all of us. That just finding a guitar or a banjo and listening to records, and whether it was a Vanguard record or however we found our way into that path,
right,
where everybody can and could play music. That was just such a beautiful concept. And I think that wasn't it the banjo that sort of led you to your eventual bandmate and
yeah,
partner,
I was wandering the back streets of Palo Alto with a couple of friends. It was New Year's Eve of 1963, going on 64, I think. And we heard banjo music coming out of the back of the music shop, and we knew where we were, and we knew who that was. We knew it was Jerry. And so, we were young and strong and feeling bold, and we just knocked on the door. I was 16 by then, and Jerry came to the door, and I guess I kind of invited us in, and he was waiting for his students to arrive, and I didn't have a watch at the time, but I knew it was like 7:30 or something. And, I prized him of it's like 7:30 on New Year's Eve, and I don't think they're coming. And he allowed us, you got a point there. Well, you guys play instruments? He didn't want to leave. He wanted to make sure that in case somebody came, he was there. So you guys play instruments? Yeah, we play instruments. Oh, well, okay, I got the keys to the front of the store. Let's go grab some and kick some tunes around, which we did for, a few hours, and had a great time and yucked it up a bunch and decided we'd had too much fun to just walk away from, so we decided we were going to make a little jug band. Jug bands were big back then.
Right. Jug bands were cool because they were like bluegrass bands with less rules.
Well, the jug band music is interesting. It was the jug band musicians were the minstrel musicians. They were the same guys playing the same stuff. On the riverboats, they were minstrel musicians. On the street corner, they were jug band musicians. Yeah. Same stuff. Yeah. Interestingly, that all happened along the river system, the Ohio and the Mississippi mostly, and in the years that followed, the 20s, when the 20s and early 30s, when the jug band music was, it really become sort of a thing. Then jazz took over, big bands and stuff like that, and the riverboats started having bands with horns in them and stuff like, so it was more like Dixieland, or what we call Dixieland. That's, I guess, New Orleans traditional.
Trad jazz, yeah.
But that music kept cooking along, but over the years, the electric bass got added, the hi-hat drum kit and the hi-hat cymbal and stuff like that. In all those same cities where there were hotbeds for jug band music, became hotbeds for funk music. It's the same stuff, the same scales, the same rhythms, the same subject matter. It's all the same stuff. It's just they call it funk now.
So you're telling me that the Warlocks in its early incarnation was really a funk band?
Pretty much.
Okay. But you had a jug band first, and I remember reading something that Jerry said, because Jerry did, Jerry Garcia, by the way, who would be 75 years old.
Yeah.
He took the time to really dive into bluegrass and bluegrass banjo playing in a very disciplined way. I mean, he really got into it.
Yeah.
And eventually found it constraining.
Yeah.
But he liked the fact that he felt like it was part of the DNA of what became the Grateful Dead, because he called it conversational music. Does that resonate for you? Does that sound...
Yeah, it's back and forth. There were a lot of trade and fours and support lines and all that kind of stuff that, that exists in other schools of music, but he found it. He really, he located those strains in bluegrass music and was able to embody that. And it became apparent that he was playing, it became apparent to a 16-year-old kid that he was playing a line that needed support. He didn't even say it. He was just, the way he played it, it needed support, so I'd play the support line. And that's how our music developed in a conversational manner.
Yeah. No, it's cool. And I like the fact that, there he is, he's developing the style, and you have this conversational opportunity to play music. He doesn't feel like the bluegrass scene is free enough because it's got too many rules. And then from there, it's just a pretty short leap to the acid tests, where there's really no rules at all. No expectations, and anything can happen.
Well, people could walk in there with expectations.
That wouldn't last long, yeah. And again, I don't want to, this isn't just like, this is your life, Bob Weir. We're not going to say, and here's your first grade teacher. The idea, though, is that there's some of these images from the early days of the Grateful Dead that I still puzzle over, one of which, as a guy who's been in bands for many years, the fact that you all lived in the same house for 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't even conceive of that, how you would...
The rhythm section tucked tail and ran. Phil and Billy moved up the hill after about a year and a half or two, but we stuck it out at 7:10 for the longest time.
Did you figure out whose food was whose in the refrigerator, or who got to play? Who chose what records to play?
It was, we sniffed it out. It was totally democratic.
And then. And what kind
usually the records that got played were the ones that we figured would get Neil Cassidy, who was living with us. The one, whatever we figured would get him most animated.
Sort of like the equivalent of television or something, like.
Right. So Miles Davis, he was big on that. We played a little John Coltrane. He could bop to that stuff.
And but you had an opportunity to try stuff out. Like, you listen to some records, you say, hey, let's see what we can build on that.
We stole stuff from records. Oh, come on, all art is clever theft.
That's what you do, yeah.
But where a lot of our tunes came from, the other one, the tune that, one of the early tunes that I wrote, for instance, the groove for a lot of the tunes that we first wrote, and it still happens, is that you turn on the radio and it comes on, it's in the middle of the song somewhere, and you don't know where in the bar you are, and there's absolutely no sense to it. And as soon as you decide this little clip here makes sense, you turn it off and go in and grab your instrument, and it comes out absolutely nothing like this. You still have no idea what song you were listening to.
It's like the musical equivalent of M.C. Escher, where you just you don't know where it begins or ends, but you snatch a little piece of it and have an experience. I think that happens with world music sometimes, where a white guy like me is trying to listen to some African music, and I think, oh yeah, I'm grooving, and then I realize, I can't even find the one. I can't even find the downbeat here. This is so more sophisticated. This is some really deep cultural tradition that I'm not hip to. So
right. Well, when we went to Egypt, we went up the Nile River, which is south, and we got up into the Nubian desert area, and they'd see a boat coming, one of those, I think they call them felucas, or something like that, and I'd see it coming, the people from these little riverside villages, and they'd play and sing and clap by the riverbank, hoping for, a little bakshish. And it was really incredibly sophisticated and powerful what those guys could do, like half a dozen guys standing, or maybe 8 guys standing on the riverbank. 1 or 2 of them had the tars. A tar is like a jumbo tambourine without the spangles. And so it's a drum, and they get all kinds of different tones out of it, and the other guys are all clapping and stomping their feet, and it's complex. The patterns go on for a long time before they repeat, and those guys are good at it because they spend a lot of time doing it.
Yeah. Sounds like that must have been an amazing trip. That was when you went to play in Egypt at the pyramids, is that right?
Yeah.
I saw a clip of you and Jerry on the David Letterman show talking about that experience, in which Jerry said, "Oh yeah, that was a great trip, but we sucked."
Well, we played horribly. Billy had a broken arm. When your drummer's got a broken arm, and it's the one that he hit his snare drum with.
Oh God.
So
you needed to find those guys by the river to help you out, probably.
And Mickey, the other drummer, is not, his whole style isn't all that focused on holding down the backbeat.
Time. Yeah.
And so that plus the fact that the electricity in Egypt at that time, it was on again, off again, on again, off again. So we didn't get much of a chance to sound check, because we get there and sound check, and we'd get 2 or 3 bars into a tune, and everything went dead.
Oh wow!
And
well, the pictures were amazing.
Yeah. Well, there was a moment there. The evening of one of the sound checks, while the guys were messing with the stage equipment, I took a little walk around the amphitheater there, and the amphitheater is thousands of years old. It's right at the foot of the Sphinx. The Sphinx is right at the foot of the Great Pyramid. And so I'm wandering around, and I guess I got the geometry right. I got lined up so that the Great Pyramid, I think the head of the Chephren, the middle pyramid, or the point of that was directly in line with, right between the ears of the Sphinx. And I had a moment where everything sort of went... I felt a timelessness about it. It was, everything sort of reverberated, off to my left, off to my right, but Barbershop Mirror is forever. And so the next night, I sort of slapped myself and said, it's remarkable, and went on about my evening. The next night we go on, and it's dusk. The house lights go down. It's outdoors, but there were lights in the amphitheater, and they go down. We come on stage, the stage lights come up, and we're the warmest, brightest thing for miles. And it's right there by the river, by the Nile, and you don't think about it because it's a desert. You don't think about mosquitoes, but oh boy, they got them.
Wow.
And, I looked at my arm, and it was covered with mosquitoes, and I brushed it off. And then the other one, by the time I was done brushing the other one off, the first arm was covered with mosquitoes again. And I'm thinking, okay, welcome to hell.
Yeah.
And then this dark form flew by my head. Another one, and I looked across the stage, and there were these bats about a foot and a half across. Right. Big bats, big guys, and lots of them, like maybe thousands of them.
These are the things people don't know when they're just listening to the show and going, God, these guys are having a tough night.
Well, so they're taking out the bats, and I had another moment where it was, take me now, Lord, I want to remember it just like this. Because if you think about it, here's a rock, back off. I left my body at that point. I sort of. And I'm looking at us from the stage, from about 100 yards or 50 yards off. Here's a rock and roll band at the foot of the Sphinx, at the foot of the Great Pyramid, all lit up really nice and pretty, like a color TV going all haywire, surrounded by a cloud of bats. And that would be a good place to just sort of step off.
Yeah, exactly. Hence the title of the documentary, What a Long, Strange Trip It's Been. Because there's lots of stories like that.
Yeah.
Like playing at Woodstock and getting shocked every time you hold your guitar.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it was just amazing stuff. I do want to say we've got a lot of music, and we're going to actually have a chance to chat later on in the show. But just talking about the music and talking about your guitar playing, I know Keith Richards has talked about the art of having 2 electric guitars in a rock and roll band.
Right.
And how it's pretty hard.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard to do. Did you naturally fall into the role, you and Jerry, of finding how that worked? Or did you have to sort of like try this, work on this?
Well,
just sort of how you heard the pulse of the songs?
A little of both. We both listened to the same stuff because we were living in the same house. And so there was one good sound system in there. And so we were listening to the same stuff and talking about it. And, for instance, I'd listen to McCoy Tyner supporting John Coltrane, playing with the tonality, playing with, he was just sort of feeding Coltrane stuff to work off of. And nobody does that. Why does nobody do that? I got to do that. And, because nobody does it on guitar. A lot of people do it on piano. Let's see if I can do it and make it sound like rock and roll. Yeah. That was where I took off.
Yeah. Well, it was an amazing combination, and it still is. I mean, I got to see the old version and the new version, and it's a cool role. And as I said at the top, you're sort of underrated as a real force in the pulse of those songs. And I know from spending time with you that you are still a guy who just loves to play music. You just want to play all the time. Yeah.
We just came back from a camp that we attended where we were playing all the time.
Yeah, we played for all day.
I was there for only 3 nights, and I would venture to say that I was playing more than I would have done on tour. More, I wouldn't venture to say I know I did, like about twice as much.
Yeah. No, it's fun, and that trend is going to continue. We've got more music right now. So thanks for coming. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for being a part of this, especially here at eTown Hall. And let's get back to music. Welcome back, if you would, Bob Weir. I should say that we were talking about what songs to do over the last few days. And Bobby sent me a list of about 200 songs. He said, here's some songs that I know. Really? You know all these songs? You know the words to all these songs? It's amazing. It's frightening.
I was born up in the mountains, raised up in a desert town, and I never saw the ocean till I was close to your age now. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, 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 you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, 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 only a river's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. I'm going back to San Angelo. Ground is hard and the county's dry. Yeah, I'm gonna get my fill somehow. Rivers of corn and wheat and rye. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hey, hey, that Red River Valley. Will she remember all the things we said? Now what's the chance that she'll remember? All those nights on the riverbed. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see it. Hey, hey, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see it. River's gonna make things right. Only a river gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see it. Hey, hey, you blowing river. Shenandoah, I long to see it. Hey, hey, hey. Only a river's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. River's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. Only a river's gonna make things right. If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung, won't you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken, perhaps they're better left unsung. Well, I don't know, don't really care. Let there be songs to fill the air. Ripple in still water where there is no pebble tossed, no wind to blow. Reach out your hand. If your cup be empty, if your cup is full, may it be again. Let it be known there is a fountain that was not made by the hands of man. There is a road, no simple highway between the dawn and the dark of night. If you should go, no one may follow. That path is far your steps along. Ripple in still water, where there's no pebble tossed, no wind to blow. And you choose to lead must follow. But if you fall, will you fall alone? If you should stand, then who's to guide you? If I knew the way, I would take you home. Da 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 da.
That's Bob Weir, along with Steve Kimmett on the guitar, eTown's Ron Jolly, Chris Engelman, Christian Teal, Helen Forster singing harmony. These guys will be back to play lots more music in just a little while.
This portion of eTown is made possible by the Bohemian Foundation, building stronger communities through the bohemian qualities of creativity and imagination. On the web at bohemianfoundation.org. As a reminder, for your viewing pleasure, there are over 2,000 videos on the eTown YouTube channel, where you can also subscribe in order to stay up to date with our latest offerings. And if you're curious about eTown's home base, eTown Hall, our beautiful solar-powered music venue, community center, and recording studio located in downtown Boulder, Colorado, you can learn more about it on our website, eTown.org. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. You're listening to eTown. I just want to mention that some of the material we just heard from Bob's new record is really his first solo record in about 10 years, and I think it's the first album of original material that has some original material in more than that, like 30 years or something like that. Anyway, that record's called Blue Mountain. We've got more music from Bob Weir coming up later on in the show. Right now, I want to tell you about what's coming next. John Fullbright is from small town Oklahoma. He went to Okemah High School. He got his start playing at the Woody Guthrie Festival. He quickly went on to write and perform and record his original songs that connected so immediately with critics and fans. He was getting compared to legendary artists like Townes Van Zandt and Neil Young. I happen to think that he's in a category all his own because his writing, his singing, and playing, his energy, that all comes from who he is and where he comes from. Anyway, he's put out 2 solo records. A third is on the way. He's toured all over the place. He's gotten rave reviews from the LA Times and NPR and the Wall Street Journal, and he's still in his 20s. I have to say that in many years of doing this show, he's really one of my favorite artists. I'm really glad he could be a part of this special show this week. And I mentioned that at the top, just that we've got this musical journey, this musical quest coming from 2 different angles, and I'm just glad that John is here. Please welcome back to eTown, if you would, John Fullbright.
Thank you guys. There's a song called God Above. 6 long days. On the 7th day he rested, said there's one sure way humans can be bested. Give them wine and song, fire and lust. When it all goes wrong, I'm the man to trust. And now you're all my own, all mine. Together will you sing my praise, sing my name forever. I am God above, Lord God Almighty, Mama. Oh, but that's not all. I got me a flame and it's a swinger's ball. If you don't know my name, oh well, you think that it's a hot down there in July. I got the means, got the kitchen to fry. And now you're all my own, all mine. Together, all my doubting children locked away forever. I am God above, Lord God Almighty, Mama. I made the heaven and earth, I made the stars above. Oh, is it too much to ask for a little love? So I'll tip my hat to all of your creations. You can fly like birds, destroy entire nations. Go and curse my name with your last breath. If all I brought to your life was death, and now you're all my own, all mine. Together will you sing my praise, sing my name forever. I am God above, Lord God Almighty, Mama. It's a song, it's a love song. It's called She Knows. Well, she knows a thing or two about me. But she didn't learn in passing. Well, she knows I'm scared of the dark. She knows I'll bleed on command. She knows I'll shut my mouth if she'll take my hand. And just how cruel I can be. She knows a thing or two about me.
I'm Helen Forster. You know, we're out of time this week, but we'll pick things up again with this song next week. So join us for part 2 of this special 2-part program.
She knows a thing or two about rain. She calls it holy water.
This is a production of eTown.